Anti-Michael Jackson fans? You still don't get it, do you? I did 2 videos talking about the flaws with Leaving Neverland. I talked about, in the video titled Michael Jackson Destroys Leaving Neverland, about Wade and James's lack of emotion when talking about their abuse. And I did a video titled Michael Jackson Destroyed Leaving Neverland, It's My Turn, which talked about the lack of evidence with Wade and James's claims. However, you still believe the Leaving Neverland documentary regardless of Wade and James' lack of emotion and lack of evidence. And that's just because you believe word of mouth over evidence. And I guess you want this video to be titled Leaving Neverland Destroys Michael Jackson. But here's the problem with that. Leaving Neverland did not destroy Michael Jackson, because his music is still being played around the world, even though some radio stations have banned his music. And people are still buying his music to this day. And there are tons of internet radio stations around the world that do play his music, especially the one that is called MJ Tunes. So no matter what happens with Leaving Neverland, Michael Jackson will never be muted, even if you want his music or him to be muted, regardless of the Leaving Neverland documentary and what you believe. This is one of the biggest reasons why the title of this video is called Leaving Neverland Destroys Nothing, because the documentary did nothing to ruin Michael Jackson's legacy. And if you still don't believe Michael Jackson is innocent, anti-Michael Jackson fans, well, I'm going to explain why Leaving Neverland was made in the first place. Dan Reed heard about Wade Robson and James Safechuck's court cases and decided to put them in a documentary because he wanted them to get famous. And he probably also wanted to take advantage of the Me Too movement, which really popped up in 2017 after Harvey Weinstein got accused of sexual misconduct. Wade Robson and James Safechuck, the 2 people that were in the Leaving Neverland documentary, sued the Michael Jackson estate because they were upset that their careers weren't the way that they planned their careers to be, and they blamed it on Michael Jackson. So they sued the Michael Jackson estate and came up with the same claims of child molestation that other people have done so in the past. Back in 1993, Michael Jackson got accused of child molestation for the very first time. The person that accused him was Jordan Chandler. Or was he? Well, that's what the anti-Michael Jackson fans want you to believe. However, Jordan Chandler did not actually accuse Michael Jackson of child molestation. He was forced to by his father, the actual accuser. His father's name is Evan Chandler. Yep, Evan Chandler started it all. He's the biggest reason why Michael Jackson has been accused of child molestation to this very day. And that includes Wade Robson and James Safechuck, because Wade Robson and James Safechuck were influenced by the settlement that happened, and Evan Chandler got what he wanted.
This man is going to be humiliated beyond belief. He will not believe it. He will not believe what's going to happen to him. Beyond his worst nightmares. Sell one more record. If I go through with this, I win big time. I will get everything I want. They will be destroyed forever.
This attorney I found, I interviewed several, and I picked the nastiest son of a bitch I could find. Once I make that phone call, this guy is just going to destroy everybody in sight in any devious, nasty, cruel way that he can do it. And I've given him full authority to do that. It'll be a massacre if I don't get what I want.
Evan Chandler devised a scheme to get Michael Jackson's money after seeing Michael Jackson with his son Jordan. So he brought Jordan to a lawyer and, against Jordan's will, forced Jordan to admit to child molestation claims. The settlement happened because the judge cited Evan Chandler over Michael Jackson. And nowadays in California law, if there was any sort of criminal charges, the criminal trial would go first. And if there was a non-guilty verdict, there would be no civil trial. However, if there was a guilty verdict, then there would be a civil trial. It wasn't like that back in the day. It could either be the civil trial first or the criminal trial. And Michael Jackson wanted the criminal trial to be first over the civil trial. Evan Chandler, on the other hand, wanted the civil trial first over the criminal trial, because that was his plan all along. He wanted Michael Jackson's money, and got it thanks to the judge. And as a result of the settlement, the law that happened back in the day was changed. And now it is the right how it should be with criminal trials, where the criminal trial goes first over the civil trial. Now the anti-Michael Jackson fan would say, Michael Jackson paid off the accuser just to keep his mouth shut. No, that is not why the settlement happened. Evan Chandler wanted the money, and he got it thanks to the settlement. And that was the biggest reason why the criminal trial never happened. He took the money and ran. That was his priority. If Jordan Chandler would have been molested for real, there would have been a criminal trial. And the criminal trial definitely would have been first. That's what Michael Jackson wanted. Michael Jackson wanted the criminal trial first. But that wasn't the case with Evan. Evan Chandler wanted the civil trial first. And he got it. And he eventually got money from Michael Jackson as a result of the settlement. That was his priority. That's the only reason why Michael Jackson was accused in the first place. So the 1993 to 1994 allegations against Michael Jackson were a get-rich-quick scheme. The 2003 to 2005 allegations against Michael Jackson, get-rich-quick scheme, just like with Evan Chandler. But this time, the person that decided with this get-rich-quick scheme was Janet Arvizo. She decided to have her son, Gavin Arvizo, accuse Michael Jackson of child molestation. And this was also done for money. But this time, because of the California law being changed, the criminal trial would go first. And this get-rich-quick scheme did not work because Michael Jackson was acquitted on every single charge. And that was because the accusers lied about the allegations against Michael Jackson. That's the biggest reason why Michael Jackson was never found guilty of child molestation, because there was no proof. What's worse, Janet Arvizo ended up getting in trouble as a result of lying under oath, because she lied about the prior court case that happened between her and J.C. Penney, and she ended up getting punished for it. Janet Arvizo was a con artist, and she most definitely was influenced by Evan Chandler. And that's the biggest reason why the child molestation case happened in the first place. She remembered what happened with Evan Chandler, and she was most likely influenced by Evan Chandler because she was a con artist. But since you don't believe the facts, anti-Michael Jackson fans, if Michael Jackson was a pedophile, why don't we just pretend Michael Jackson was guilty? Let's pretend Michael Jackson did really do child molestation. Let's pretend Wade Robson and James Safechuck were molested by Michael Jackson. Let's pretend Jordan Chandler and Gavin Arvizo were molested by Michael Jackson. The timeline makes this a problem. If Wade and James were molested and accused Michael Jackson, this would have happened before 1993, and he would have been convicted if there was evidence against him. If that would have happened, Michael Jackson would have been in prison, and the Jordan Chandler and Gavin Arvizo accusations never would have happened. Fact: Michael Jackson wasn't accused of any child molestation until 1993. Now let's pretend Jordan Chandler was molested in 1993, which was the year Michael Jackson got accused of child molestation for the first time. If that would have really happened and Michael Jackson was guilty, a criminal trial would have happened and Michael Jackson would have been convicted. Fact: there was only a settlement in 1994 and the criminal trial never happened. Now let's pretend Jordan Chandler, Wade Robson, and James Safechuck weren't molested, and only Gavin Arvizo was. There was a criminal trial, and the verdict is in. If Michael Jackson did molest Gavin, he would have been convicted on June 13, 2005, and would have been sent to prison. If this would have happened, Michael Jackson wouldn't have died in 2009, and he might have been in prison today. Fact: Michael Jackson was found innocent on June 13, 2005, and died on June 25, 2009. Now I gotta ask you, believers of Wade and James, and believe Michael Jackson is a pedophile. Why wasn't Michael Jackson convicted in 2005?
We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of conspiracy as charged in count 1 of the indictment. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of administering an intoxicating agent to assist in the commission of a felony as charged in count 10 of the indictment.
Why didn't Wade and James accuse Michael Jackson before 1993?
Half hour with a new claim from Wade Robson, Michael Jackson's former protege and longtime defender, a claim that the pop star molested him for years.
The Daily Beast reported Wednesday that former child actor James Safechuck has accused Michael Jackson of molesting him when he was between the ages of 10 and 15 years old.
Why wasn't there a criminal trial after the settlement in 1994?
Well, we need to take this one day at a time. There is no criminal proceeding.
This is a case that is going nowhere. There ultimately should be no charges filed. If they had evidence, they would have had it by now, and that hopefully we can stop meeting like this in the near future.
Exactly. If Michael Jackson was a pedophile, Wade and James would have been telling the truth, and Leaving Neverland never would have existed, because both of them would have accused Michael Jackson before 1993. The Chandler and Arvizo accusations never would have happened if their accusations were true. Both Wade and James are using past accusations to their advantage. They sued the Michael Jackson estate because they didn't get their way. Michael Jackson was only accused because people wanted his money. Wade and James are in the same boat as others before them.
This man is going to be humiliated beyond belief. He will not believe it. He will not believe what's going to happen to him. Beyond his worst nightmares. Sell one more record. If I go through with this, I win big time. I will get everything I want. They will be destroyed forever.
Show me where he touched you. You never, nothing ever,
place he touched you, bro.
nothing ever like that? No nonsense, no shenanigans? But he's a weird guy, you have to admit.
It's really sad that we live in a world where Michael Jackson is being accused of child molestation, and people have been believing that Michael Jackson was a pedophile since 1993. People are falling for it to this day. I have been trying my best to convince people that Leaving Neverland is filled with lies and there was no evidence against Michael Jackson. People need to stop believing word of mouth over evidence. Evidence always wins over just word of mouth. Leaving Neverland was all word of mouth and has no evidence of child molestation. People took word of mouth as a guilty verdict. Here's a fact. Word of mouth is not a guilty verdict. Leaving Neverland is not a true documentary. If it was, it would have had tons of evidence against Michael Jackson. However, you have to realize that Leaving Neverland only exists because it's a product of U.S. media. It never would have existed if Wade Robson and James Safechuck were telling the truth. Anti-Michael Jackson fans, you have to realize what would have happened if Michael Jackson was guilty. Everybody would have become anti-Michael Jackson fans. It's not going to happen because people know the real truth. And they know why Michael Jackson wasn't convicted. And they know why Leaving Neverland exists. Michael Jackson will never be muted, never be convicted, and will never be proven a pedophile. There is already a former celebrity that was proven to be a pedophile. And that was the Subway spokesperson, Jared Fogle.
Hi, I'm Jared the Subway guy, and this is my story.
He was a pedophile. You know, the word says it all, pedophile.
Oh, you're right, lady. He was. He was hiding a dark secret from everybody outside the Subway commercials that he was in. It wasn't until he was arrested that we found out what that secret was. He was developing his own pedophile ring by having child porn on his computer. And he also had an accomplice to help him. I am comparing him to Michael Jackson because people are believing Michael Jackson started up a pedophile ring just like Jared Fogle did. The difference between Michael Jackson and Jared Fogle is Michael Jackson wasn't convicted. Jared Fogle was. Jared Fogle was proven to be an actual pedophile, and he is currently serving time in prison. Now, I heard from some people that I am supporting a pedophile or pedophiles because they believe Michael Jackson is a pedophile. No. I don't support proven pedophiles. Michael Jackson was never proven to be a pedophile. Do you think I support Jared Fogle after he was proven to be a pedophile? No. All people are anti-Jared Fogle fans now because of the evidence and his conviction back in 2015. This could have happened with Michael Jackson if he was a proven pedophile. It will never happen. There is a difference between a proven criminal and just somebody that gets falsely accused of a crime. An actual criminal will always be proven guilty. And a person that gets falsely accused will never be proven guilty in a court of law. Michael Jackson is one of those cases of a guy that got falsely accused and was never proven guilty in a court of law. We need to think Michael Jackson is innocent of any crime because he was never proven guilty. I can relate to Michael Jackson because I was falsely accused of a crime that I was never arrested for, and I ended up trying to prove my innocence in a YouTube video. People need to realize that not everybody is guilty of a crime. Only people that have been proven guilty are the ones that committed a crime. That is why Leaving Neverland did nothing to Michael Jackson or his legacy. There are still Michael Jackson supporters like me, and Michael Jackson was never proven guilty in a court of law. Even if I wasn't a Michael Jackson supporter, I don't support Leaving Neverland or anybody that has falsely accused Michael Jackson of child molestation and has no evidence to back up the claims. I support real victims. The bottom line is, Leaving Neverland sucks. Evan Chandler made people believe Michael Jackson was a pedophile. Evan Chandler caused Michael Jackson's life to go downhill. Evan Chandler caused other people to accuse Michael Jackson of the same accusations, including Wade Robson and James Safechuck. Evan Chandler caused all of it, and not Michael Jackson. Period. Fuck him. And for anti-Michael Jackson fans that still believe Michael Jackson was a pedophile, then you support Evan Chandler. Because he was the one that originally accused Michael Jackson of child molestation, even though he was in it for the money. If you support Leaving Neverland or Michael Jackson was a pedophile, then you support Evan Chandler. You don't support real victims. You support the liars and the people that wanted Michael Jackson's money. And that's all I have to say. And now I'm going to destroy Leaving Neverland and the program that came after it, after Neverland. If you are interested in more Michael Jackson videos, please subscribe and click on the bell for notifications on new videos.